It wasn't basketball that broke the internet this time. It was golf. Caitlin Clark's stunning debut, orchestrated by the LPGA and spotlighted alongside Nelly Korda, instantly turned a quiet tournament into a global phenomenon. The league's marketing machine went into overdrive, pushing highlights, hashtags, and interviews that dominated social media for days. Fans who had never watched a golf broadcast suddenly tuned in.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
Drawn by the crossover allure of one of basketball's brightest stars. The result? Record-breaking engagement, soaring viewership, and a viral sensation that even seasoned analysts called one of the most successful promotional pivots in women's sports history. But as the LPGA capitalized on the moment, one league, the WNBA, stayed noticeably absent, missing a golden opportunity to ride the wave. That silence spoke volumes. While the LPGA reaped the rewards of bold marketing and cross-sport synergy, the WNBA's lack of response underscored its ongoing struggle to evolve in a digital-first, personality-driven sports landscape. Clark's record-setting golf moment wasn't just about athletic achievement. It highlighted how quickly narratives shift when one organization embraces momentum while another stands still. Her performance became proof that the future of women's sports belongs to those who know how to seize a cultural moment and turn it into something bigger than the game itself. Caitlin Clark just did it again. But this time, she didn't need a basketball. She stepped onto a golf course, just for fun, just to participate, and walked away with another world record, another viral moment, another cultural shift, and yes, another missed opportunity for the WNBA. Because while Clark's golf debut became a global headline, sparked a viral marketing storm, and lit up social media with numbers that would make most leagues jealous, one group stayed completely silent. The WNBA, the very league that should be riding every high, every spike in popularity, every single ounce of buzz Caitlin Clark generates. And yet again, they said nothing. No tweet, no Instagram post, no feature, not even a recycled highlight reel to ride the algorithm. While fans flooded every platform to celebrate her crossover success, the WNBA stood still. Meanwhile, the LPGA was working overtime, and they nailed it. They knew exactly what they had. A cultural moment. A high-profile athlete crossing over into a new sport with a built-in audience. And they wasted zero time building a strategy around her. Not only did they promote her appearance with smart, sleek coverage, but they also paired her with Nelly Korda, one of golf's biggest names. The result? Viral domination. From the moment Clark hit her first tee shot, the internet couldn't get enough. Every video clip gained traction. Every angle got reshared. Her name was trending before the round was over. Broadcasters who initially gave a mention were now giving it segments. And fans, especially those outside golf, started tuning in for this. For her, it was a textbook example of modern sports marketing. The LPGA took an athlete from a different sport, saw the potential, and amplified her impact by pairing her with a star from their own world. That decision didn't just help Clark, it helped them. It grew golf's visibility. It attracted new audiences. It showed that collaboration isn't just possible, it's powerful. And now everyone is asking the same question. Why wasn't the WNBA part of this? This wasn't just a good look for Clark. It was a reminder of how relevant she's become across the entire sports landscape. She didn't just show up to a golf event. She turned it into a spectacle. A spectacle that the LPGA was smart enough to center their media push around. And the WNBA, which has the most to gain from Clark's popularity, once again chose not to engage. This isn't about who owns the moment. It's about who knows how to use it. And the WNBA keeps proving that they don't. They're failing to recognize that Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's a media phenomenon. And when those moments go unacknowledged, they don't just hurt Clark. They hurt the league she plays in. Fans are seeing it, too. The backlash online wasn't subtle. Twitter threads, TikToks, YouTube breakdowns. Fans and sports media figures are calling it out. The WNBA is consistently late or completely absent when it comes to promoting its own stars. And now, That absence is being contrasted with leagues like the LPGA, who saw Clark's star power and immediately acted. It's not a question of timing. It's not about oversight. It's a pattern. A league reluctant to embrace the modern sports model, a model that thrives on narrative, on virality, on star-driven engagement. Caitlin Clark has all of that, and the league still can't, or won't, figure out how to center her without turning it into a problem. The missed opportunity here isn't just a day of social media metrics. It's long-term momentum. Every time the WNBA ignores Clark's viral moments, it creates distance. It tells fans that the league isn't invested in her crossover appeal. And when a league doesn't support its biggest star, it sends a message to other athletes, too. If you go viral, don't expect us to promote it. If you break records outside of basketball, don't expect us to ride the wave. If you bring in millions of new eyeballs, we'll stay quiet because we're not sure how to handle it. That kind of resistance isn't just outdated, it's destructive. Meanwhile, the LPGA leaned in. They took the opposite approach. They didn't hesitate. They didn't try to dilute Clark's moment or redirect the spotlight. They understood that celebrating one star can elevate everyone. And that's exactly what happened. The coverage wasn't just about Clark. It introduced millions of new fans to Nelly Korda. It brought a new generation of viewers into women's golf. And it gave the LPGA a blueprint for how to build around moments like this in the future. They didn't protect tradition, they evolved. Now the LPGA looks innovative, and the WNBA looks out of touch. And that contrast, it's not going away, because this won't be Clark's last crossover. It won't be the last time she dominates headlines outside of basketball. Whether it's brand endorsements, charity games, TV appearances, or yes, even more golf, she will keep showing up in spaces beyond the court. And every time that happens, the spotlight will return. The question is, will the WNBA ever be ready to meet it? Right now, the answer is no. And that's not just frustrating, it's unsustainable. Caitlin Clark isn't just building a personal brand. She's building attention that could transform the entire league. But the WNBA's refusal to engage with that energy is becoming more and more noticeable and more criticized. Industry analysts have said it plainly. This is what happens when a league fails to adapt. When it clings to rigid marketing strategies in a world that rewards flexibility and speed. When it values sameness over star power. And fans? They're not buying it anymore. They're not going to sit quietly while the biggest star in women's sports is celebrated by everyone except the league she plays for. They're calling out. They're holding receipts. And they're starting to question what the WNBA actually wants from its audience. Do they want engagement? Or do they only want it when it fits the playbook? Do they want stars? Or only stars who don't disrupt the structure? Because Caitlin Clark isn't disruptive. She's the draw. She's bringing in fans who weren't watching women's basketball before. She's breaking through in places most athletes never reach. And the league's silence is becoming deafening. So where does this go? If the WNBA continues down this path, ignoring star-driven momentum, refusing to promote viral crossover moments, and failing to capitalize on cultural relevance, they risk more than missed headlines. They risk becoming irrelevant. Because other leagues are watching. Other brands are watching, and they're more than happy to celebrate Clark when the WNBA won't. The LPGA just proved that. And now, fans know it too. Caitlin Clark's golf debut didn't just show off her swing. It showed the entire sports world which leagues are paying attention and which ones are still asleep. The clock is ticking. Let us know where you stand. Should the WNBA have promoted Clark's golf moment? Is their silence a mistake? Or a warning sign of bigger problems? Drop your take in the comments. Like the video if you think the league needs to start showing up. And don't forget to subscribe, because whether the WNBA steps up or not, Caitlin Clark is only getting bigger. And this conversation, it's just getting started. Here's where things really start to unravel, because this isn't just a missed promo opportunity anymore. This is about the league, turning its back on the moment everyone else is chasing. Let's stop pretending this is about golf. Caitlin Clark's golf debut was never just about a swing, a score, or a few drives down the fairway. It was about how a single athlete can flip the script. How one name, one person, can dominate multiple sports headlines at the same time and pull entirely new audiences into the room. Not because of PR spin, not because of controversy, but because she's that magnetic. And instead of embracing that, riding the wave, claiming their star, the WNBA opted out. Again, this isn't about logistics. It's not about being busy with the season schedule. It's about the league making a clear, repeated choice not to build around its most relevant, most marketable, most recognized athlete. While the LPGA was spinning her golf outing into a viral masterclass in cross-promotion, the WNBA didn't even post a 10-second clip. It's not just a failure to promote. It's a refusal to adapt. And the irony? The LPGA didn't even need Clark. They're in a different lane. They didn't own her. They simply recognized the cultural heat she was bringing and made a move. They gave her a platform, gave her room to shine, and made space for the moment. They weren't scared of being overshadowed. They saw the value, and they acted. Meanwhile, the WNBA keeps clinging to a model where every player is marketed the same, where no one stands out too far, where balance comes at the expense of momentum, and where a breakout moment from a star like Clark is treated as a side story instead of the main one. The truth is, the LPGA outplayed them. Badly. They used Caitlin Clark's viral gravity to make their own event bigger, smarter, sharper, and more relevant. They didn't just get views. They got validation. Because when people talk about women's sports this week, they're talking about golf. Not because of a tournament. Not because of a championship. Because of Caitlin Clark. And not a single part of that story includes the WNBA. That silence, that absence, it's costing them more than attention. It's costing them reputation. Because fans aren't stupid. They see the inconsistencies. They know Clark's doing numbers that most leagues would kill for. They know she's growing audiences. They see the empty seats turning into sold-out arenas. They see jerseys flying off the shelves. They see her name trend every time she steps on the court. Or, in this case, on a golf course. And yet, the WNBA pretends like it's business as usual. It's not. Clark is not a normal rookie. She's not just another player in the rotation. She's a phenomenon. And if the WNBA isn't willing to embrace that, then someone else will. The LPGA already has. That's what should worry the league most. Because now it's not just Clark. It's the system around her. It's the media, the sponsors, the fans, the influencers, the YouTubers, the TikTokers. They've all bought in. They're telling her story with or without the league's help. And when a league fails to tell its own biggest story, it loses control of the narrative. That's what's happening now. The LPGA didn't steal Caitlin Clark. They just didn't ignore her. And that tiny distinction made all the difference. They let her be the center of gravity for a weekend. They treated her moment like the cultural lightning bolt it was. And as a result, they ended up in headlines they never would have touched without her. That's the new playbook. And the WNBA is still playing from a dusty old binder full of equal coverage rules and slow-rolling media releases. Still stuck in an era where the league decides who gets attention, not the audience. Still pretending that suppressing a breakout star is the same as fairness. It's not. It's stagnation. Plain and simple. The sports world has moved on. Fans don't want cookie-cutter messaging. They don't want polished team graphics with no personality. They don't want to scroll through generic content while the most exciting athlete in the country is making headlines elsewhere. They want stories. They want stars. They want energy. And Caitlin Clark brings that. Whether she's hitting a deep three, giving a post-game quote that instantly trends, or stepping onto a golf course and breaking another record, she moves the needle. But that only works if the league meets her halfway. Right now, the WNBA is stuck in a cycle of underpromotion, over-control, and baffling silence during cultural moments that beg for amplification. And fans are fed up. They're watching the LPGA take a swing at something new and win. They're watching the league that should be leading this conversation stand in the corner, arms crossed. No engagement, no strategy, no momentum, just vibes. And missed chances. That's the cost of playing it safe. Because Clark's golf debut didn't just prove she can go viral in any sport. It exposed the WNBA's marketing model as outdated, out of step, and at times completely absent. They're trying to manage a cultural moment, like it's a schedule conflict. And by the time they figure out how to respond, the world has already moved on. But the damage stays. When fans see that silence, they question it. When players see it, they feel it. And when other leagues see it, they get emboldened. Because make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is now on everyone's radar. Every league, every brand, every content team is watching. And if the WNBA keeps leaving space, others will keep filling it. So the question isn't whether Clark is breaking through. She already has. The question is, does the WNBA want to be a part of it? Or do they want to watch it happen from the sidelines? Here's where the tension becomes undeniable. Because this moment, the one the LPGA seized and the WNBA ignored, is more than just another viral blip. It's a collision between old-world sports marketing and the modern, fast-moving reality where the star moves the system, not the other way around. Caitlin Clark isn't just shifting attention. She's shifting expectations. Fans now expect engagement when she does something monumental. They expect the league to respond in real time, to uplift, to participate in the energy she brings. But when the LPGA capitalized and the WNBA ghosted the moment, it became clear that one league understood the assignment, and the other still thinks it's playing by 20-year-old rules. And that's where the damage begins to compound. Because this isn't the first time the WNBA has whiffed on the Clark effect. It's just the loudest. Let's not forget, Caitlin Clark entered the league with more hype than any rookie in women's basketball history. Her college career was historic. Her name was known coast to coast. SportsCenter couldn't get enough of her. She sold out arenas before she even got drafted. The infrastructure was already there. All the WNBA had to do was plug in and keep the current flowing. And yet here we are, months into her pro career, and the most consistent, strategic, and enthusiastic promotion she's received has come from golf. Not her own league, not her own sport. Let that sink in. The LPGA, which had no prior relationship with her, created more buzz around Caitlin Clark in one weekend than the WNBA has across an entire season. And they didn't do it with bells and whistles. They did it by doing the obvious, highlighting her, pairing her with a top talent, packaging the moment, and distributing it with confidence. Simple, effective, massive return. Meanwhile, the WNBA has all but ignored the culture-shaping potential sitting in their lap. And every time Clark goes viral outside of basketball, that absence gets louder. It's not just fans noticing anymore. It's analysts. It's journalists. It's players. Everyone's talking about the contrast. And the conversation isn't flattering. Because when you zoom out, this isn't just a Caitlin Clark problem. It's a philosophy problem. The WNBA is still operating under the belief that promoting individual stars is somehow a threat to league balance. That if one player gets too big, the rest get overshadowed. So the default becomes, play it safe. Spread attention thin. Keep everyone equal. But what's happening now is the exact opposite. That equality is backfiring. Because by refusing to spotlight the athlete who's drawing millions of new fans, the league isn't protecting anyone. It's diluting everything. It's ignoring the gravity of a star who could elevate not just herself, but the entire sport. And the LPGA proved that. They didn't overthink it. They didn't make it political. They didn't frame it as a threat to their own athletes. They understood that putting Clark front and center doesn't dim anyone's light. It makes the whole space brighter. And now, they're reaping the rewards. Women's golf was at the top of the sports conversation for days. Not because of a major championship, not because of a historic performance, but because they leaned into one player in one moment and trusted the audience to show up. And they did. That's what the WNBA keeps missing. They're stuck trying to control the story instead of joining it. They want the benefits of star-driven attention without actually doing the work of star-driven promotion. And it's showing. Every time Clark breaks another record, trends online, or becomes the face of another crossover moment, and the league stays silent, the credibility gap widens. People start asking harder questions. Not just, why didn't they promote this? But, why don't they want to? And that's the part that stings. Because it starts to feel intentional. It starts to feel like the WNBA is more comfortable sitting in the past than adjusting to the present. Like they're afraid of what happens when the spotlight focuses on one player, especially when that spotlight didn't come from within. But here's the thing, that fear is outdated. Sports have changed. Star power is the engine now. And the leagues that understand that are the ones that grow, the ones that thrive, the ones that last. Just look around. The NBA didn't shrink when LeBron took over the headlines. The NFL didn't flinch when Mahomes became a brand. Tennis didn't suffer when Serena became the face of everything. These sports grew because they embraced the moment. They promoted it. They invested in it. Meanwhile, the WNBA is standing on the sidelines watching the LPGA, of all leagues, set the tone for how to handle a breakout star. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because now, Clark's cultural cash isn't tied to the league. It's tied to her. And if the league won't support it, others will. Brands, broadcasters, even other sports. The attention is going to follow her, whether the WNBA is involved or not. Which begs the question, what happens when Clark becomes bigger than the league she plays in? Because let's be real, that moment is coming. And fast. If she keeps breaking records, selling out games, drawing national headlines, and crossing over into new arenas without league support, the WNBA risks becoming a background character in its own story. They risk losing narrative ownership, losing fan trust, losing future stars who are watching this unfold and thinking, why would I sign up for that? And that's the real consequence here. This isn't just about one missed post or one skipped promotion. It's about the long-term message the league is sending to its players and its fans. And right now, that message is, we're not ready to evolve. And if that's the case, the WNBA is in trouble. Because athletes like Caitlin Clark don't come around often. They don't just perform. They transcend. And if you're lucky enough to have one of them in your league, you build around them. Not just for their benefit, but for yours. Because here's the truth. Clark's success doesn't threaten the league. It saves it. She's the gateway for a new generation of fans, for bigger partnerships, for more broadcast deals, for more cultural legitimacy. She's not here to break the system. She's here to elevate it, but only if the system lets her. So what's it going to be? Another missed moment? Another viral clip the league doesn't touch? Another example of a crossover success with no league involvement? Or does the WNBA finally wake up? Do they finally realize that the playbook has changed? Do they finally acknowledge that what's good for Clark is good for everyone? Because if they don't, they'll keep watching from the sidelines while other leagues keep capitalizing. The LPGA just showed the blueprint. The ball's back in the WNBA's court. So let's hear it from you. Do you think the WNBA is sabotaging its own success, or are they just too slow to see the opportunity? Should they have embraced Clark's golf debut, or was their silence deliberate? Drop your take in the comments. Like this video if you're tired of seeing the same pattern play out. And hit subscribe if you want to stay on top of every moment the league should be capitalizing on. Because Caitlin Clark isn't waiting around. And neither are we.